Oh well, what's up guys? Nice and close and personal today. To do something new on the channel, but still in line with like what we're all into. Today I was watching just some YouTube and it came to my attention that, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of DAWGS. He's some guy that just makes really weird content. But he's dropped a video today that's basically ripping off Eminem's 8 Mile, which is kind of crazy because it's such a popular movie that one would think that ripping it off would get someone in trouble. But here we are, it's on YouTube. It's how long? It's basically half an hour long, so it's not the whole entire movie, but yeah, I thought we could watch this together. Basically, DAWGS is known for taking other people's content, squishing it together in a really shitty way, and making something new out of it. So, new being a really strong word. New being a really, really strong word. So, yeah, let's get into it.
So immediately we're introduced to the scene where Marshall's woken up by his mom, who sounds like she's lost her inhaler.
What are you talking about?
But it's straight to action with this movie, and we immediately find out that Marshall does not know how to read human expression. Because when his mom is on the verge of basically passing out, this kid still wants to get his comics?
Mom, I need to get my comics.
This is then followed by one of the most intense faces that you'll see in the entire movie from Marshall's mom as she's trying to explain that they're going to be having fun. We then cut to the first day of school and maybe the most iconic intro of our entire generation.
Excuse me, class. May I have your attention, please?
What is going on?
Marshall then introduced to his class and immediately he bullies this other lighty in the back of the classroom.
Yo, what kind of name is Marshall?
I don't know. My kind of name, I guess. Enough.
I'm starting to think that Marshall might be the villain of this movie. But we all know what happens when you stand up to a bully.
So you want Ralph, huh?
We're then introduced to MC Proof, a legend from the original 8 Mile.
I'm Deshaun, but everybody here calls me MC Proof.
And if there's one thing that I can say about this kid, he has the greatest skin I've ever seen on anybody. Look at this guy. You could see him from space. We then get a glimpse of what Marshall's life could have been like if he maybe became a drawer instead. And I gotta say, I honestly think he should have stuck with this, based on what you're gonna see now.
Succulent and full of flavor.
Then we get our first interaction of Marshall and his bully, and another sick roast from the writing team.
Maybe you can sell your drawings and buy yourself some better clothes that didn't come out of a garbage can.
And then some more wise words from a 6-year-old. Marshall then comes home to his mother being wildly inappropriate in front of a child. And just like any good mother, she tells him, hey, I'ma fuck this dude, so you need to make your own dinner. Then we're introduced to Marshall's inspiration. Now you'd think that it would be Proof, because in 8 Mile, Proof is kind of the guiding light for Marshall and all of this. But no, we get this guy. Gotta love a DAWGS Studios film. So we get introduced to Uncle Rodney, and basically he's just had a big fight with his girl, and this basically leads him to dropping some, what I consider, honestly real gems of knowledge that we can all learn from.
Tell me something. You got a girlfriend?
Your girlfriend wants to be my girlfriend.
Yeah, right.
Good. Trust me.
We then get to hear from Marshall about his first day of school and about his interaction with his bullies. And honestly, this was my only reaction that I had.
I also don't think that kid was twice his size. They look pretty the same size to me.
Uncle Rodney then gives his most famous piece of advice: step it up.
Step to him?
Step to him?
And of course, he doesn't mention it ever again in the entire film. After Marshall almost starts laughing at his uncle while he's trying to give him some deep quotes.
Look at this dude.
Uncle Rodney gives him this really old cassette tape and he starts listening to some hip hop. But the music that he starts playing just sounds ass. It sounds like the most generic, like boom bap hip hop song that you could probably get.
Good, right?
We then get a little bit of self-hate, some more poor acting, and the scene finally moves on. Finally. I don't know about you guys, but for me that scene dragged. Next we're thrown back into school and the kids got the iconic Eminem hoodie on. Why? Because we're all stupid and need visual cues to explain to us that, hey, this is Eminem, the guy we're basing the story off of. Hey, this isn't an original film. This is based on the true life of that famous guy that loves wearing hoodies. Again, I was taken back by how much younger this kid looks compared to his peers. Like, damn, who let this kid get his ears pierced? He looks 4. Proof then gives Marshall some new shoes because his old ones are super crusty. I'd bully a kid too if his shoes looked like that. Classic bully then arrives with his posse, looking all cool, wearing their Leatherman jackets and whatnot. And you think this is the moment when Eminem Marshall is gonna get his ass beat. But then this happens.
Yo, what's up with you, D? It's like you're obsessed with me.
I mean, this makes me want to beat him.
I know I'm pretty. This is my boy! Just let me know, and you can look for free.
After Marshall's first time freestyling, we also get Proof calling him M for the first time.
That was nice, M.
Which I got way too excited about, if I'm being honest.
Oh, he called him M!
But hey, we gotta reference the original somehow, right? The movie then gets a little bit hectic for the next few minutes as we cut to a scene of Marshall really just feeling himself in the mirror. Like smug look straight up in the mirror. Don't act like we haven't all been there before. The bully then comes in with his friends and beats the shit out of this kid. And we get the second time that they reference the original Eminem when he calls him
Stay down, Slim.
That's M and Slim now. Honestly, this is Tarantino level of writing and you can fight me if you think I'm wrong. Marshall then wakes up in the hospital with a brain hemmorrage.
Yo, is that Jason Derulo? Everybody's waiting for love. Oh.
Which I feel like is coming off lightly after hitting your head on a fucking sink. I mean, let me just show you this part when he's lying on the floor and the blood is coming out. I don't know what the director or who was in charge of the blood, but whoever was just did a fucking terrible job. If you look how fast that shit is filling up, like at that rate, that kid is filling up a whole bath. Marshall's mom then comes and visits him in the hospital and we get some more over dramatized acting.
How is he, doctor?
At this point, this lady's starting to feel like, you know those old Japanese commercials where people are like, oh, what's up, come by. Where they're just like
Over expressive and
because obviously English isn't their first language. This lady's starting to make me feel like English might not be her first language. I mean, the facial expressions alone are getting ridiculous at this point. Then we get a little montage of Marshall sleeping, his mom basically looking pissed off that her son is in a coma, which doesn't make any sense. He can't do anything about it. And then we also get Rodney, who guess is sleeping, of course. The guy that's been inspiring this kid the whole time, he's obviously taking a little power nap. Even King's got to sleep. Proof then comes and visits Marshall in the hospital and
MC Proof.
asks him how's he so good at rhyming.
Where'd you come up with all those rhymes like that?
Drugs.
Because obviously in this universe, kids were never taught about rhyming words. That's why this kid can't rhyme more than 2 words together without absolutely failing.
Spray on, rayon, gray pupon.
I blame the education system, honestly. So if you thought that this movie was really stupid, you're wrong. They're actually teaching us over here, guys. Come on. The 2 kids start just saying random rhyming words.
Time, dime, climb, chime.
And it fades into the future years later. I thought this was extremely funny because it made it seem like Marshall had just been rapping non-stop for years, and then finally Proof was like, alright dude, I finally thought of some more words that I can rhyme with fucking dime. Like I said, it's not Proof's fault, man, it's the education system. We can't blame it.
Then we took a van to Japan for a can of Raisin Bran. Yo, that was nice, man.
Proof's friend just shows up and his, what would you say, industry connection. Basically just a super well-dressed man in a Tony Soprano outfit.
You blow your father with that mouth?
And now Proof is trying to get Marshall or M, or whatever you want to call him, Slim, a chance at this like rap career thing. So he tells this guy, yo, give Marshall any word and he'll rhyme it. Now, I don't know if you guys remember a while ago. Now I'm talking a while ago. I was a lie to you. There was an article that came out about Eminem being the first person to rhyme something with orange. I don't know if anyone else remembers that. It might be like a fucking fever dream that I had once upon a time. But I remember there being an article about Eminem being the first person to rhyme orange with something in a song. And I don't know if it was intentional, if they knew what they were doing, or if they were just trying to be difficult. This part was the only part that I was like, oh, they're trying to do something a little bit different, taking some inspiration from something else, you know what I mean? Not just like blatantly ripping off a classic movie. So with that being said, obviously the friend or connection gives Marshall the word orange. And just when he's about to walk away, we get this sick 4-bar sequence.
May not be black, blue, or orange. I love you. But to get in at the shop, I'd break the door in.
So after a quick little twinkle twinkle little star rhyme, we then cut to maybe the hardest mewing gaze I've ever seen in my entire life. This boy has been sucking lemons.
My life's the worst.
Then some more quick little high fives, and he's been accepted into the industry, guys.
Now that was crazy.
It's that easy. It's that easy to become a rapper. You just gotta rhyme orange, dog. We then cut to Uncle Rodney fighting with his girl again, and some really, really bad foreshadowing. I literally called this one minutes before, and this is meant to be like the major twist of the entire film.
Shit. What's up with you? I'm predicting it. He's gonna commit suicides. They are foreshadowing crazy over here.
But basically, Uncle Rodney and Marshall just have a conversation about Uncle Rodney fighting with his girl again. But he's hella bummed, so he leaves, and then we fade, and Marshall's mother comes back, and we get the bad news that Uncle Rodney has indeed done the suicide. If this is all feeling super rushed, don't worry, you're right. This is rushed as fuck. At this point in the movie, the only thing that I was really impressed by was how they managed to put like a almost 2-hour movie into half an hour. Cause this feels so much like 8 Mile, but obviously so much shorter. I was a bit impressed, like, damn, they are condensing this really quick. But what it starts feeling like, because it's like all these little things put together, it starts feeling like a whole bunch of different like Snapchat stories that have been stitched to make this one story, if that makes any sense. So don't worry if you're thinking, damn, this Darman 8 Mile movie's hella jumping all over the place. I'm feeling that too. This movie is jumping. We then jump to the funeral day and Marshall's mom walking into his room to talk to him. And this is when I realized something else that pissed me off. They didn't do anything to make his mom look older, which kind of threw me off. Like, it was fine when he was a kid and she looked like how she does, but now she looks his age. So now I'm just getting like bitchy sister vibes more than like this evil stepmom that they're trying to portray. I wish they just like, I don't know. You've got such a big budget, obviously. I mean, all of this is sets and people and stuff like that and good camera equipment. Like, could you not just put a little bit of gray in her hair or something? I don't know. Like, the continuity of this film is like Goku having to run down the dragon's tail all the way to the end. It's just like all over the place. But she gives a really poor speech trying to convince him to come to the funeral, and then Proof enters and then says this.
People say crazy stuff like that when things like that happens.
I'm sorry, what?
People say crazy stuff like that when things like that happens.
What the fuck did you just say? I'm 99% sure that last word shouldn't be a plural. I've read this like 3 or 4 times, and even now when I'm reading the script, I'm like, dude,
They ask you how
I still think that's wrong. I might be wrong. I'm not an English professor, but he said this, and I rewound and I played it, and I was like, dude, that doesn't make fucking sense. The writing, guys, the writing is what we're paying attention to here. And we can conclude that Proof needs to go back to school. Sound off in the chats. Proof needs to go back to school, guys. And as we've seen, Marshall can't rhyme well either. So after a quick little sexual exchange between the two,
Anything?
Yeah, man. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
the boys are off again to chase their dreams. Oh wait, that's a different movie. They grab their fucking paintball guns and cause havoc around the town.
I'm that lady. I'm there just like, what the fuck?
The music that's playing in the background of the scene makes it feel like a Tekken fight, which is only appropriate because then we get this scene which doesn't make any sense at all. This scene made me think of like a Made in China Fight Club scene. I don't know why. And the strangest part is he's McDonald's because he's loving it. Marshall has some serious weird kinks that he needs to work out. If this scene proves anything to us, is that Darman Studios strongly believes that story isn't important as long as narrative keeps moving. Which, if you ask me, is some Terrence Howard level maths. Marshall then arrives home super pissed off, grabs his rhyme book and his cassette, but as we know, he doesn't know how to rhyme. So he just sits there staring at his cassette tape and the scene ends. That's literally it. That's how the scene ends. I know. Fucking great. Okay, and I also have to say, sound off in the comments if you agree. But does this man not look like Edward Norton? You know, the homie that blew up New York in Fight Club? I might be tripping, but let me know. Is this the guy that punches himself in the face? If punching yourself in the face was rhyming, then yes. These guys love the fade transition, so we fade again. Marshall and Proof are back to the books, and we find them doing more rhyming in the back of an alley.
Spray on, rayon, gray, pupon.
At this point, I started thinking that Proof is just clinically slow.
That was nice, man.
Because this man, for the life of him, cannot get past the third word. I don't know what it is, and I don't know why every time they do like a rhyme freestyle thing, he's just rhyming like 2 or 3 words together. Like why can't he freestyle 2 actual lines? I don't know. You guys know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
To me, it started coming across like just clinically slow. Like if a word is cat, he'll go hat, mat. Damn, Em, I can't do this anymore. Like, what the fuck? He literally looks older than me in this part of the film, and it's like the writing is just.
That was nice, man.
Proof and Marshall then show their true colors as they just absolutely annihilate these kids with a paintball gun, shooting the one guy in the eye even. Showing that these guys are actually dicks. And if I'm picking sides, I'm on the skater's side. Like, it's an alleyway.
Diagon Alley!
You could go sit in a park and rhyme or something. Like, skaters can only skate in a few places. So this behavior proves that Proof is a psycho. The police come out of nowhere and we get the best scene of the movie where Em and Proof get a good beating. The boys are then locked in jail and we get a really dumb speech from Proof that's basically trying to convince him that if he starts rapping right now, somehow miraculously, correct! Damn, that word was hard. The walls of the prison are just gonna blow off and the jail cells are gonna fly off their hinges. Like, it's a really dumb speech and I hate this scene for some reason.
How about you bust a couple of them rhymes on me, aight?
I love you.
But this is the logic we can assume we'll get from a guy that can't rhyme more than 2 words together and thinks it's a good idea to shoot a kid with a paintball in the face. Next, we get the court scene where we get some really good acting from the lawyer as well.
Yo, what's happening?
I don't know.
And eventually the kid they shot just doesn't pull up, so they get let free. But the skinny white boy is still sad. Why? Because this is an Eminem movie.
I feel like the luckiest guys on earth right now.
Nah, man. We ain't lucky.
What do you mean you're not lucky? You just got out of jail for free for committing a assault. Like, I think you're pretty lucky. Marshall then starts trying to give a speech outside the courthouse.
Don't let who you are stop you from who you trying to be. The only thing holding me back is me.
And the writing, once again, is so poor. Nice. The writing is so poor.
We only got one shot at this, dog.
Do not miss your chance to blow.
I've never had a movie where I've been able to call out like events that are gonna happen in the future twice. But with this movie, I did it multiple times, and this scene was no different. So guess what they do next? That's right, you're clever.
I said it, I called it, rap, there we go, that's your solution.
We then get the bathroom scene. Now, this part was maybe my favorite part. Not because of it being like a good scene or anything, but it was quite cool to see a remade version of the original starting scene from 8 Mile when Eminem is like in a super nasty, it looks like there's like every kind of disease in that bathroom type shit. But in this one, it's like a preppy high school version of that. And I just thought it was really funny that they're trying to sell the story of this guy coming from nothing and his mom is trash and he's trash and da-da-da. But the venue, as you guys will also see now, everything about the show at this point doesn't match. Like, it's not coming together, I think, how they're intending it to come together. But we progress and we move on to the actual rap battle now. And when I was watching this, I immediately could hear, just from like the crowd and the hollowness of the room, there's like 9 people over here.
There's like fucking 10 people in that crowd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9.
which is trash. I feel like they could have definitely gotten more people, but more money for profit. More money, more profit. And then we get introduced to the guy that he's rapping against. Now, I don't know about you guys, but something about this guy, I was like looking at him and I was like, dude, where have I seen this guy before? I don't know. You guys let me know. Sound off if you know where this guy's from. He looks so familiar. But regardless, we're at the Luke versus Darth Vader scene now. Not that this guy's his father or anything like that.
You're not my dad!
How wild would it be though if they linked it all the way back to the first scene? Like they showed a cut of Marshall and the mom jumping through the window and it's this guy coming through the door looking for them. But so begins the battle of the rap gods. Marshall then emerges from the back of the crowd, which I thought was a really weird way to introduce him, seeing as that Proof is already on stage and the other guy came from off stage. And Marshall comes from the back of the crowd like he's Joe from the series You.
Who asked you to film me?
It's like they started filming and the actor wasn't in his position and Darman was just like, you know what, fuck it, he'll just walk in from the back anyways, fuck it, just come. Yeah, it's alright, we'll just edit in post, Oh, the people watching, they won't know, they're stupid, they won't know. Yeah, the budget's tight, don't worry, budget's tight. The rapping then starts and the first thing I thought when I heard this kid rapping was, you know when you're giving an oral in class and everybody's got their different tells of nervousness. For me, it's like my cheek starts quivering. But there were those kids in class that would go up there and would just start reading so fast, you'd swear their paper was gonna ignite. Like, that's what this kid reminds me of.
Yo, straight from the block where the stories unfold in the heart of the hood where the nights are cold. Right to the corner where dreams take flight under the street lights.
I feel like they gave him lines and maybe he was a bit nervous and he went for it. The guy then slowly slows down and we start getting ready for Marshall's freestyle. The part we've literally been all waiting for. If this isn't your favorite part of 8 Mile, then I don't know. My favorite is the end. Also the scene when he's like rapping about you got roots in your boots.
Look at your goddamn boots. For Christ's sakes, it's starting to grow roots.
I like that part a lot too. But dude, the end is so iconic. But hey, at least we're getting a Darman version. Right before Marshall starts rapping, we get the crowd chanting, choke, choke, choke. And I really wish they didn't put this in because it does what it did earlier when they were clapping. It just amplifies
how small the crowd really is.
Just listen to how empty this room sounds when they're shouting choke. But Marshall holds it together and it tanks.
You see me, but you don't have a clue. You ain't got the first idea about what brought me to you.
I mean, it's not bad if it was like a real life freestyle. Like if Harry Mack came on the street and started rapping something like this, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's bad. I'd be like, oh, that's pretty good. But the fact that this was pre-written for this scene, they had weeks, presumably, like to write this. But we get this.
My life's been full of heartache and broken dreams. I'm looking for the bright side.
Bright side, white boy shout out. Let's go.
But ain't no hope, so it seems. Look.
The bar was already so low. You were already copying a movie that has like 17 awards. So the first round now comes to an end and you'd assume, based off the original, that we'd get a second guy that comes in to rap, maybe building up to the bully from high school, you know?
Marshall.
Like continuity, bring it around or something, like, but not in a Darman movie, baby. Now you see, in a Darman movie about Eminem, it's a little bit different. We get the same guy again. But right before the other guy can start rapping again, Marshall grabs the mic out of his hand and just lets it rip.
This guy ain't even a real MC. I know everything he's gonna say about me.
What?
I say let it rip because this next part is also a real stinker. I know I've said it maybe a few times now throughout this video, but this is actually my least favorite part of the whole film. You see, Marshall gets going and it's basically bar for bar the end of 8 Mile. The scene when Eminem starts rapping and the music stops and it goes a cappella, that end part right there, the a cappella part, they basically stole that word for word. I started noticing it because I know the movie quite well and it's like one of my favorite movies. And he just started going, and as soon as he started going, I was immediately turned off. But they do their best to squeeze it in at the end, and it just falls super flat, to be honest. Where the original has a lot riding on this end scene and a lot of investment from the viewer, you feel absolutely nothing for Marshall at the end of this. He's a little bit of a pussy, if I'm being honest. And he's just not a super likable character. So at the end, when we get this whole like build up and this I'm white trash and da-da-da, it doesn't hit the same. Mans was getting ready in a preppy high school bathroom before this. So the stakes just aren't there at the end of this movie, and I think that's why it falls so flat. I mean, the original 8 Mile quite literally gives you goosebumps at the end. I mean, they didn't even do anything to make Marshall in this movie look like he's been through a lot. Like, Eminem in 8 Mile's got heavy bags under his eyes, bro. Heavy bags. And this kid just looks like he just woke up from a great nap. Like, the only thing that they're doing is hoodie. It's Hoodie Allen. They're basically like, yeah, hoodie means sad. Sorry, let me do this quickly. I'm super sad now. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. The scene hits like a wet cloth smacking against a wall. The crowd then starts clapping, and maybe the most original part of the entire film then begins. And it's literally just a slideshow of photos of Eminem with text about his life. And honestly, this was the most impactful part of the whole movie. Reading about Eminem's life, I was like, oh yeah, cool. This is relevant. This makes sense. Like, this is something that I can get behind. But the entire movie before, like I said, it just felt like a whole bunch of Snapchat stories that had just been like placed together. This movie reminded me of those movies about movies, like disaster movie, epic movie, scary movie. But the difference where those movies are intentionally trying to be stupid and like dumb and quirky, this movie was trying so hard to be serious and dramatic that they accidentally came across as stupid, wacky, and just dumb. I feel like there's so many ways they could have told an 8 Mile story just like a lot better. I mean, look at movies like August Rush. Basically the same concept, an underdog musician that's like good at something in particular. I guess August Rush is just like a music prodigy, but that's kind of the premise of Eminem. He's like a freestyle prodigy or whatever, a lyrical prodigy. There's many ways they could have done it differently. Maybe a story of a kid that's playing a unique instrument, you know, like the cello or something. There's also that story of that guy, I can't remember right now, but you know, the guy that apparently sold his soul to the devil and he came back and he's like super good at guitar. I'll put it up here for you guys. Like, that's another kind of story that you could have like incorporated and stuff. And people are gonna say, but Jean-Claude, it's a YouTube video. It can't be as long as those films. And to that, I say bullshit. Like, look at channels like Omelette, whatever it's called. There are some movies on there that are 3 minutes long, and those short films hit. So I really don't think length is the issue. I think they just took arbitrary things, like parts of the story, stitched them together, and I think it was the writing and the pacing that just like threw it off. I think the actual like venues and the whole vibe of the film just didn't give an underdog sort of feeling. The kid, I won't lie, he didn't look like a rough white kid, which is what they were trying to depict, right? I mean, that's Eminem's like fucking thing, other side of the track type thing.
Have you ever seen me without this stupid hoodie? That's weird.
But that kid looked like he was sitting next to me in primary school. Like, he looked like a normal dude. And like I said, the bags, like, dude, that's a little bit of makeup. The mom with the gray hair, like, there were little things I feel like they could have done that could have just made it a lot better and a lot more original without it sucking so much ass. My fucking eyes. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a random South African in his room doing a weekly show. You're the person that I want to hear from most, so please tell me your thoughts. Am I wrong? Am I right? Was this movie funny when it was meant to be serious? Was it serious and then turned out to be funny? I think I just said the same thing. But Most importantly, I just want to say stay mad, stay magical. I really hope you have a wonderful week and you're having a good one so far. And I'll see you guys real soon. Peace.